Guys, welcome to our storytelling series of the wonders. In a small workshop in Boston, 1876, a man shouted words that would echo through time. "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." That moment wasn't just the first phone call, it was the birth of global communication and the beginning of a world forever changed. Imagine a world without your voice. Not the voice in your throat, but the one that travels. The one that can cross mountains, cross oceans in an instant. Before the telephone, our world was a much larger, much quieter place. Communication was a slow dance, a patient game. If you wanted to send a message to someone far away, you had to rely on the speed of a horse, a train, a ship. You would carefully write a letter, seal it with wax, hand it over to a postal carrier. Then you would wait. Days, weeks, months, for your words to reach their destination and for a reply to begin its long journey back to you. This was a world of delayed emotions and carefully chosen words. There was no room for spontaneous laughter or a quick, comforting whisper. News of a birth, a death, a declaration of love arrived long after the moment had passed, like a distant echo of a life already lived. The world was speeding up. The old ways of communicating just couldn't keep pace anymore. Factories roared to life, cities sprawled outward, and railways stitched the land together mile by mile. The Industrial Revolution had transformed the landscape, igniting industry, building vast cities, and laying down endless tracks of steel. Businesses were no longer confined to their hometowns. They were reaching out, creating networks of trade that spanned the nation, and even crossed oceans. A factory owner in New York might suddenly need to place an urgent order with a supplier all the way in Chicago. The telegraph was faster than a letter, but it was still slow, indirect, and far from personal. To send a message, you had to visit a telegraph office, where an operator would translate your words into dots and dashes. This process created a bottleneck, a frustration that echoed through booming economies. After all, time was money. Families, too, felt the strain of distance growing between them. As people left farms for cities or set out for new countries in search of opportunity, they left loved ones behind. Letters became a cherished link, but they could only capture a moment already past. Each letter was a treasured connection, but it was always a snapshot of yesterday. People longed for something more. A way to connect instantly, to share their voices and their lives in real time. Many brilliant minds were captivated by the dream of sending a voice through a wire. One of the most prominent figures in this race was Elisha Gray, a prolific inventor and co-founder of the Western Electric Company. Gray understood the principles of sound and electricity better than almost anyone. He was methodical and well-funded, and for a time it seemed almost certain that he would be the one to claim the prize. But our story focuses on another man driven by a different kind of passion. His name was Alexander Graham Bell. Bell was not an electrical engineer by trade. He was a teacher of the deaf. His life's work was dedicated to sound, speech, and the mechanics of the human ear. This unique background gave him a different perspective on the problem. The race between Bell and Gray was incredibly close, a true photo finish in the annals of invention. On February 14, 1876, both men headed to the United States Patent Office. Bell, through his lawyer, filed a patent application for his telephone. Just a few hours later, on that very same day, Elisha Gray filed a caveat for a similar device. It was Bell's application that was registered first. Securing the patent was a monumental victory, but honestly, it was only a piece of paper. The device it described did not yet fully work. They had managed to transmit indistinct sounds and muffled noises, but the clarity of the human voice remained elusive. The challenge lay in creating a transmitter that could accurately convert the vibrations of the human voice into a continuously varying electrical current. Then, on March 10th, 1876, just 3 days after his patent was officially granted, history was made, quite by accident. While working on the device, Bell accidentally spilled some of the battery acid onto his clothes. "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." In the other room, Watson was holding the receiver to his ear, waiting for the usual test sounds. To his utter astonishment, he heard Bell's words come through the device, as clear as day. He dropped the receiver and rushed into the other room, bursting with excitement. He had heard him. It had worked. That accidental cry became the very first telephone call in human history. The first telephone call was a magical moment, but it was just the beginning of a long and difficult journey. In the beginning, many people were skeptical. They saw the telephone as a novelty, not something ordinary people would ever use. Only when Emperor Dom Pedro II tried the device and cried, "My God, it talks," did people grasp the significance of Bell's invention. Building the infrastructure was a Herculean task. The first telephone lines appeared in 1877, linking a few homes and businesses in Boston. Each phone needed a single dedicated wire to another phone. The solution, the telephone exchange. The first opened in New Haven in 1878 with 21 subscribers. A human operator sat at a large switchboard plugging wires into jacks. Demand exploded and a web of wires spread across the country. Lines crisscrossed cities, snaked along railway tracks, stretched across the countryside, slowly stitching the nation together. By the 1890s, telephone design evolved. The awkward wooden box gave way to more streamlined models and eventually a single handset. The rotary dial appeared, paving the way for automated exchanges. The network connected more than people. It connected the world. The first international call, United States to Canada. Soon undersea cables began to link continents. What began in a Boston lab was becoming a global nervous system. Each new wire, each new exchange, each new subscriber added another thread to this tapestry of communication. The spread of the telephone created ripples of change that touched every aspect of daily life. For businesses, the transformation was immediate and profound. Deals could be negotiated in minutes instead of weeks. The telephone helped fuel skyscraper growth and sprawling cities. Managers could run complex organizations from a central office. It flattened hierarchies and accelerated the pace of business. For families and individuals, the telephone brought the world into their homes. It eased the ache of loneliness for those far from relatives. A child away at college could call home to share news or seek advice. It became essential in emergencies. A quick call to a doctor, the fire department, or the police could save lives. It created a sense of security and community. The telephone also created entirely new opportunities and professions. The telephone operator became a visible new job, employing thousands of women. An industry sprang up to manufacture the phones, lay the cables, and maintain the network. Engineers, linemen, technicians, and salespeople found livelihoods tied to the device. The telephone powered economic growth as much as communication. From our hyper-connected present, it's easy to take it for granted. Its arrival was a turning point in history. The telephone is the ancestor of modern instant communication, radio, television, and the internet. It laid literal wires and shaped our expectation for instant connection. Before we could have a world in our pocket, we first needed to have a voice in our homes. This is where our story of the telephone ends, but the evolution of communication was just beginning. Join us in part 2 as we explore how this simple device evolved into the smartphones that now connect billions of people around the globe. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more wonders.